This is Versus. I'm John Ryan's Will Cohen. Will, I'm very happy that we're finally back in the swing of things. Like we're having movies now that are just there's no hope. It's just they're bad. It's not like, oh wow, they snuck a good movie in here, or like, oh, one of us thinks this is okay. We're just back to bad movies. How you feeling?
I mean, first, I'm really confused that apparently I accidentally color coordinated here. That was completely unintentional. Second of all, I realized that my shirt could symbolize the ruby red slippers of the better Wizard of Oz, but that would mean that I put in more thought than this movie put in its entire runtime.
This is called. I mean, depending on where you go, the Wizard of Oz Dead Walk or Wizard of Oz the Dead Walk. I really don't care. I don't know. It is taking. I'm struggling. Taking things that exist in the Wizard of Oz and putting them and forcing them into the story they're trying to tell.
And they're not even doing it well. They're not even doing it logically.
Mm-hmm.
And it's once you get even a vague idea of what they're doing, by that point, you just wish that you were watching something else, like a drill going into your skull.
So let's, for a minute, you have seen The Wizard of Oz. I have seen The Wizard of Oz. So let's assume everyone who's watching this has seen The Wizard of Oz. I'm going to set the stage based on what I know. If I make any mistakes, interrupt me. Okay. So this is set post Wizard of Oz. However, instead of, Dorothy waking up in her farmhouse in the early 20th century, it is modern day 21st century.
I have to help them. I have to help them.
Calm down. It's me, Aunt M.
I'm going to pretend that that's okay. But after she left Oz, because I'm going to give all the exposition now, after she left Oz, the Wizard of Oz remained back there. And he's like, he was never a wizard. Like, he was always a charlatan. He was always a charlatan, but now he fancies himself a scientist.
Well, our magician never reveals his secret.
And so after she leaves, he becomes like an experimental mad scientist, and he starts injecting your favorite characters that were left behind, like the Scarecrow and the Tin Man, with an experimental, like basically the rage virus from 28 Days Later, I guess. And now they, instead of wanting a heart or a brain of their own, just take the hearts and brains of other people.
That's a good heart.
Now, that's what's going on in Oz. Also, Glinda, now ugly, and like Snow White's evil grandmother in the hag costume for some weird reason. So she's the good witch still, but they made her ugly and menacing. But we're going to forget that too. So the wizard is also upset that Dorothy has escaped to reality. And he also now escaped to reality. I don't know how he did it, but he did it. And in reality, he has disguised himself as the clinical director of a drug rehabilitation facility. And he's amassed Dorothy for some reason, who was brought there because they left like a leaflet on her aunt's doorstep, an actual line from the movie, and a bunch of other ragtag drug addicts who, it's very insulting. We'll get into it. And now he's manipulating Dorothy via her psychotropic medications to cast actual magic from Oz in order to bring the zombified, bloodlusted Scarecrow and Tin Man into reality.
Holy shit. Who's Glinda?
But I don't know the motivation for that. And that's where we're at. Is that correct?
So here's what I think happened here, John.
Okay.
Because first of all, there are two characters that are just flat out missing. The fucking dog. Actually, technically, there's three. The dog, the Wicked Witch of the West.
Well, she's dead.
And the Cowardly Lion.
And okay, I can account for two of those. The Wicked Witch of the West. This is post Oz, so she's dead.
Right,
and the one guy they refer to as the lion.
Everyone thinks they're special. You think you're a lion.
Whatever. That being said,
if you think,
but there is a character named Alice, but it's Alistair. Like, and it's so weird. Like they randomly put like Alice in Wonderland like references in this movie,
which is exactly why I think that she got these confused, because like the aesthetic choices that they use, like the costume choices and the hairstyle they use for Dorothy is exactly what Alice looks like in American McGee's Alice. So I think she got these conflated, wrote down Wizard of Oz, and then just ran with it.
Yeah, possibly. Now, there's just no rhyme or reason to what goes on, though. Like everything I said is the exposition we're given. Now, and the Wizard of Oz is the clinical director. He does psychotherapy. He does hypnosis. I don't understand why I don't understand why they take the steps they take to get to the places they go, but they know that Dorothy's dreams are real because that is really Oz reaching out to her. So he's trying to make her believe her dreams are real, and he uses her to find the spell book, which for some reason is not in her possession and not in Oz, but it's at a tree on the property. And they get that, and they make her read page 666.
Click my heels together and pay the cost. Make Dad alive.
Which brings the Scarecrow and the Tin Man, who are just homicidal maniacs, into the. But the thing is, like, is this the most poorly run rehab you've ever seen? Because like people like legitimately they find dead bodies. Like you have mentally fragile people, drug addicts, and they're just stumbling upon dead bodies, and like they don't shut it down. They don't like send them away. They just like let's move on. Groups at noon.
Yeah.
So,
as you remember that, there was a film called, Oz the Great and Powerful. I'm pretty sure that they were just aiming for Oz the Blamed and Shitty here. Yeah. But so John, I want you to talk, to use your expertise here to explain why none of the mental health aspects here work.
Like, I understand that this is probably taking place in the United Kingdom somewhere, even though Oz is, Dorothy's from Kansas. But I imagine, just given the fact that it's the same house from all the other movies, so I guarantee they're in the United Kingdom somewhere. So let's assume the laws are different. Now, the fact that like they're kind of like really like loose with when they use force, when they use medical sedation, when they let people off grounds, when they restrain people, like it's just there's no rhyme or reason to it. Like there's clearly people smuggling drugs in. There's no like searches. They said they drug test them every 14 days in a drug rehab. Every 2 weeks in a drug rehab? Are you sure about that? Like that's not how every like regulation these people say out loud. I'm just like, no. Where are your county analysts coming to shut this place down? Okay, obviously we know that it's not really a drug rehab. So I guess that explains why all of those plot holes. But any real patient in the place should have been like, this doesn't feel right. This doesn't feel right. Maybe after the third dead body and business goes on as usual, you probably should have said something.
Whoa, no, stand there, Dorothy.
What's going on?
It's nothing to worry about.
Also, you could have just walked off the grounds. Like you could just walk right the fuck off the grounds.
So where John had the massive problem with the logistics of this, I think what I like, the big nail on the head for me was the fact that they had an idea that they halfway through the film chose to stray away from, because it's very clear that like certain characters are supposed to be like the Scarecrow and the Cowardly Lion and all these characters, even to the fact that like you can argue that like Elphaba and Glinda are like fucking there.
Yeah.
But and then all of a sudden they read the page 666 and the Tin Man and Scarecrow come up. Not like they don't make like characters like Alistair turn into the Scarecrow. No, the characters just flat out kill them. And the practical effects are just absolute shit. At least
there's this blood splattering or CGI.
Yeah, it's like at least they didn't use like all the CGI here, but they used it in weird places. And so it's like this again, this film like stops making sense like 30 minutes in of a 90-minute film.
My worst thing, the thing I hate, and this happens in like every single like ITN movie, is like it's just so inconsistent. It's like they present this Tin Man and the Scarecrow as these just like unstoppable killing machines. No one puts up a fight. They legitimately just walk up to people and stab them. It's like like 1,000 times. But when they attack Dorothy, all of a sudden it's a fight. It's a real fight. Like she could like they stop, like she's blocking, and it's like, dude, you're nobody. You're an exposed bra. That's all you are. You're an exposed bra, lady. Like he was killing other people like for real. That one yoke dude, they just knocked him out and dragged him away. You can't fight these people.
Right.
And then like at the end, like this is another one of those movies where they must have sat around a very long conference table, and like to take your line, they brought they ordered like Subway, and they got a mountain of cocaine, and everyone that had an idea like got to have their idea in the movie. Like at one point, like, what if we kill one of the characters, right? And then we have Dr. Oz make them into a robotic Scarecrow. It's like
Sarah Crow.
And then at the end of the movie, Dr. Oz she kills the Scarecrow, the Tin Man, and the new robotic Scarecrow. And then this guy's just in his car, and he's like, "Ha!" And then the movie ends. Now the movie doesn't end on like the good guy wins or the bad guy wins. It just ends on a nonsensical shot of the antagonist. Which I guess we're gonna get a second movie. Louisa, don't do it. like we're good. We're good.
I mean, if you're like Louisa, if you're going to remake if you're gonna remake a film of any ilk, like do something like really gonzo. Like I want to see the horror version of Cat in the Hat. I really want to see that.
I'm sure that's coming.
I mean, it's like, although like with Louisa behind it, there's going to be like awful pussy references, and we don't want that.
Yeah, I don't even know. Like, let's just jump over to readings, and we'll talk more about it. here I'm gonna peel the curtain back a little bit. Like as we've referenced on the show, like as far as I know, Louise is still my friend on Facebook, and whenever she posts on Facebook, she's often going to like openings of her movies, right? And like people show up and they dress nice and they go and they sit in these movies. I need someone to reach out to me and explain to me like how you all look at each other with straight faces and like think you've made a movie. You did not make a movie. You didn't do that. You did not do that. Please stop.
Louisa, I dare you to come onto this show. I fucking dare you.
You're just going to verbally abuse her if she comes on the show. This is a 1-star movie. I almost made it a 0.5 star, but then I'm like, that girl did expose her bra. So, I mean, I guess we'll give it, she tried. She was giving it all she could. 1 star. Well,
I mean, I'm not necessarily, like, if she actually comes on the show, I want to give her a platform before I verbally abuse her, but I also gave it 1 star. It didn't fall into like bad propaganda territory, but as you saw in my Letterboxd, if you were to convince, like if you were to tell me that this film's sole purpose was to ensure that Oz the Great and Powerful is not the worst Oz-related film known to man, this movie would still suck.
yeah.
Like, there's absolutely no value here whatsoever to report, maybe except for like the exposed bra, but it's like we don't, for all it's worth, it's like I don't even think seeing her tits would have actually made this film watchable.
I also didn't understand, like, just to go back to, like, I don't mean to harp on the exposed bra, but like it didn't make any sense. Like she's dressed normally, and then the one scene her shirt's just open. It's like, oh, button your fucking shirt. Like, what are you doing?
John,
we're in a rehab. Button
John,
your fucking shirt up.
John, we're talking about a Louisa Warren film, and you're expecting things to be logical. That's really adorable.
That was probably one of the ideas. It was probably that actress's idea. It's like, I can unbutton a button on my shirt. It's like, yeah, do it. Do it. You're promoted.
Yeah. Did she get an associate producer credit for that? Probably.
Anyhow, next week, we go from known friend of the show, Louisa Warren, to a man I want to be a friend of the show. A man who I said we'd be talking about a lot because he makes 80 movies a year. Brent Bentman made a movie called Aladdin's Revenge. Now, okay.
Buckle in, because this is where things get weird.
Now, this is a normal like ITN trope. Like, I guarantee this box art is wrong. And they always like, there's always titles that like presuppose that their movie came before it, and sometimes there isn't a movie before it. Like when it was like Rise of the Mummy or Curse of the Mummy that they did, that was the first movie. They didn't have The Mummy, right? However, in this case, there is a movie called Aladdin. So he did a movie before this movie. Now hold on, I'm promising you I'm not lying to you. This movie came out first. This movie's out. You can watch this movie. If you try to find Aladdin, mind you, the movie you need to watch to make this movie to be a sequel to it, you can't watch it. You can only watch the sequel. So since that's the way, obviously, Mr. Bentman wants his media to be consumed in society, we will watch the sequel first, even though the actual plot for this says after the events of the first films. So there's also more than one film that comes before this, even though when you look around, there's only Aladdin, which again is not available. But we will watch this movie, which is available next week on Versus. How's that?
I mean, I can't wait to like almost be confused by the events of a movie that we can't see.
Yeah. Hey, that sounds like a recipe for a great show. That being said, if you made it this far in the video, like, comment, subscribe, and share. Go to the Facebook group at Why We Live Horror. Check out the Letterboxd challenge at this thing right here. That's it. This is Versus. I'm JWMaher. That's Will Cohen. See you next week.